Hey guys, and welcome into PlayStation Vita video blog number 5. I realize we are a couple of days late this week. Wanted to get it up on Thursday, however I had a very long day, and on top of that a bunch of new stuff came out on Thursday, so I wanted to play that and try to get some videos up for that stuff as well. So this video is coming to you today on Saturday. I will try to have the next video blog up next Thursday. Thursday is just a day that works pretty well for me with that, so I will try to do that. However, Thursday is also a big game release day here in Japan. Stuff always comes out on Thursdays, so we'll just see. I might change the day, but Thursday seems to work pretty good for me and my schedule, so I will try to do that. Anyway, let's get right into this video blog. Here are the points we will be talking about. First up, as always, we will talk about sales. Following that, most of the topics today are things I've got a lot of questions about, so I want to answer a bunch of that. Next after that is PlayStation account sharing. I've had a lot of people ask me they want to share accounts with their brothers, they want to share accounts with their friends, obviously so that you only have to pay for one game once, so, you know, and play it on multiple systems. I will tell you how to do that and what the limit is, basically how that works. Following that, I'll talk a little bit about trophy support. People are really into trophies. However, you have to be careful on the Vita because everything is tied to your account. So I will talk about how trophies work on the Vita. Following that, I've just had a lot of general 3G questions. I covered the 3G costs in the States on a previous video blog, but I will just talk about what I've been doing. My system is a 3G system. People always ask me, they still want to know what's up with your system. You know, it's a 3G system. Tell us a little bit about what that means, how much you are paying. Everyone always wants to know how much I'm paying for my 3G, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And finally, I will review Minna no Golf 6, also known as Everybody's Golf 6 or Hot Shots Golf 6 in the West. That will wrap us up, and following that, just talk about some of the upcoming games I'll be picking up. Obviously, the upcoming games that are coming out. So let's get right into it and talk about sales numbers. Last week's sales numbers are in, and the Vita only sold 18,361 units. If you'll recall, this is down from the mid-40,000s, I believe. Percentage-wise, this drop is very equivalent to pretty much everything else from last week. Everything took a big drop. Simply because the week before that is the week after New Year's where kids are out spending all their New Year's money. If you didn't know, kids in Japan get money on New Year's, cold hard cash, and then they go out and spend it. So yeah, a lot of kids went out and bought a lot of different things, but the week after that typically sees a very big drop off because the kids spent all of their money the week before, and yeah, nothing really new comes out or anything like that. So that's the story there. The percentage-wise, it dropped off about the same as everything else, but unfortunately, it's down to 18,000 units. Already being below 20,000 units this close to release, yeah, it's pretty scary. We'll have to see what Sony rolls out. Fortunately for us, you never know what could happen in desperation. So, you know, it's kind of like what happened with the 3DS. It wasn't really worth owning, I hate to say, for a while. But Nintendo kind of went into desperation mode, and now it's a pretty solid system. Lots of really good games out for it and more coming out. So we'll see what happens with the Vita. In my opinion, the Vita is not so much about the current lineup as it is more of a maybe possibly a current cultural thing. I think this lineup will do pretty well in the West. I'm not saying the Vita will sell a lot of units, that's not what I'm trying to say. I think the lineup itself, though, fits a Western audience very well, whereas the Vita still doesn't really have any games that really appeal to a strong Japanese market. It doesn't have any big sellers. Obviously, you know, the front line title was Uncharted. But Uncharted itself doesn't really do that well in Japan. It does alright, but it doesn't really do amazing numbers, and so you couldn't have really expected it to do amazing numbers over here. But having said that, yeah, you know, the hardware itself is definitely already at a pretty low point, so we'll just see where it goes from here. We have E3 upcoming in a few months. We've also got the American launch coming up. A lot of things like that. So, you know, the system's not dead. There's still, you know, it's still in its infancy. There's still a lot to come out for it, and a lot of things I'm very excited about. So we'll just see where it goes from here. Yeah, we'll see how it does on the market. The market is a very different place now than it was even just a few years ago. So it will definitely be interesting to see where it goes. But I'm excited to see where it goes. And again, you never know what we get in desperation. So let's look forward to that. Yeah, second topic, PlayStation Network account sharing. So a lot of you might know, but you are allowed to download your games now onto two different systems. Okay, so games that you buy on the PlayStation Network can be downloaded onto two different systems, two different serial numbers. So if that's a Vita game, that does mean you can download the game onto two different systems. However, these systems have to be using the same PlayStation Network account. Okay, so if I buy Wipeout on the PlayStation Network and my brother wants to play Wipeout on his Vita, he has to log in to my account and play Wipeout. Obviously, for the first time, he would have to log into my account, download it, and do all of that. But then he would have to be on my account to play Wipeout. So he wouldn't be able to earn trophies on his account or anything like that. It would all be on my account. And again, you can only do it up to 2 times, 2 downloads. So basically, you're tied into the account there. The other thing about account switching is, yeah, it's pretty easy to do. It just takes a little bit of time. And this also ties into international accounts. I know a lot of people have been asking about bouncing back and forth between an English, either Europe or an American account and the Japanese store account. You can do it. It's very similar, not the exact same, but it's very similar to the way it was handled on PSP, where you just kind of have an extra step. You have to kind of deactivate your account and then flip over into the new account. On the Vita, it does basically require what they call a hardware initialization, I guess. You don't have to format your memory card, but basically you have to format your system. Now again, remember there's nothing saved to your system itself besides, the clock and things like that. So you don't have to worry about erasing things. However, you do have to initialize your system every time you want to switch accounts. It just takes a few minutes. It's not a big deal, but you can do it. And I am not condoning, not purchasing games by trying to share as much as you can. But I am saying that it doesn't really work out as well as it used to. I know back in the day, people on the PlayStation 3 were sharing games like crazy because you can flip accounts just like that on the PlayStation 3. But no, on the Vita it is a pain in the butt. Which is fine with me. I don't really care because I just buy all my own games and I don't share with anyone. I know, greedy of me, right? But yeah, you can do it up to two systems all on the same account. Okay. So yeah, now that that's out of the way, next point is trophy support. People have been asking about trophies. Do they pop up just like they do on the PS3? The answer to that is yes. As soon as you get a trophy, it will pop up in the top right corner and say, hey, you got a trophy. And from there, if you want, you can pop into the trophy app, similar to the trophy place on the XMB on the PlayStation 3. And you can see what you did to get the trophy. You can see what all the other trophies are. There are hidden trophies, just like the PlayStation 3, so you won't know what they are until you unlock them. And that kind of stuff is the same. Now, the thing you have to know about trophy support is that it's tied into your account. So the first time, let's say I buy a game and I play the game on my account. Of course, you have to have an account to play on the Vita, so you can't play accountless. So I play the game on my account. Since I played it on my account for the first time, the game is initialized to my account, so I can earn trophies. If my friend pops the game out of my Vita and puts it in his Vita and plays on his account, the game still knows it's tied to my account, and it will not allow him to earn trophies. He can play the game. You can play the game. He just will not be able to earn trophies. Okay? If I take the game back and put it back into my Vita, I will continue earning trophies. Now, if he wants to, and of course if I allow him to, this will be the tie-in to used games here. If I play on my Vita and earn some trophies and decide, okay, I'll let you borrow it or I'll give it to you or whatever, or I sell it used, and he pops it into his Vita, he can initialize the game. All games have an initialization option, and if you do that, the game is basically restored to factory defaults. He can then link the game to his account and start earning trophies. The thing to note is that if he does that and then I get the game back, I can't continue earning trophies unless I initialize the game again. Okay, so basically games are tied to accounts, and you can only earn trophies on that account unless you initialize the game. Okay, hope that makes sense. On to questions about my 3G system. I have my Vita here, not that you really need to look at it, but it is a 3G and Wi-Fi version of the Vita. So what that means is that it is tied to Docomo, similar to AT&T in the States, and that I can use the internet while I'm out and about. I have told a bunch of people the reason I got 3G is just in case a game comes out in the future with great network support, really great network support, and I feel like being able to play it anywhere, being able to access those features anywhere. As of now, there is some cool network stuff going on in Wipeout. There's some cool network stuff going on in Star Strike. Yeah, but it's not enough to make me want to pay. In Japan here, when I bought the Vita, I got a voucher for 103 free hours. I'm still using those hours. Obviously, 103 hours is a lot of time, especially when you consider that that would be time spent on 3G. When I'm home, I use Wi-Fi, obviously, and I play my Vita a lot at home. I do play it out and about on the trains and stuff like that when I'm going to and from work, when I have some free time, things like that. But I still haven't used 103 3G hours. I probably haven't even used 20% of that. Yeah, I've probably used, 15 or 20 hours so far. And yeah, there aren't really any killer apps for the 3G yet. So here in Japan, prices are a little more expensive than over there in the States. Again, you're going to have two plans, $15 or $25 for 250 megabytes or 2 gigabytes. Over here, there are some prepaid plans, which there aren't in the States. That's why we were able to get free hours. I don't think there will be any free hours that come with a US Vita, simply because you can't buy time in hours over there. You pay for a month for a certain amount of data. But anyway, over here we do have both. But our unlimited plan, we don't have like a monthly 2 gigabyte plan or anything like that. Our unlimited plan here runs about the equivalent of $55 or $60 a month, which is a lot of money. I could buy a game for that. And yeah, a lot of people are going to be like, wow, that is expensive. But that's what unlimited data costs over here. It's what I pay for unlimited data on my iPhone. It's what pretty much everyone else pays for unlimited data on their smartphones. That's just how much it costs, so people are used to it. Yeah, about 4,400, 4,500 yen a month for the data plan. So anyway, I don't have a data plan on my Vita. I'm still blowing through the hours it came with, and I still have a lot. Like I said, 80, 85, something like that. You can check the hours from an app that comes pre-installed on the 3G Vita at any time. You just hit the icon. It'll tell you how many hours you have left. Again, in Japan. In the States, I'm sure it'll be the same way, except you'll be able to access it quickly and see how much how much download room you have left, a gigabyte or, 100 megabytes. You just hit the icon, it'll tell you, and yeah, you just go back to doing whatever you were doing. So I am not paying any money monthly for my Vita. At some point, I might. However, it would really take a killer app for that to happen, and I really only ended up buying the 3G Vita because I had the money at the time, and it was only, again, $50 more in the States, just a little bit more than that here. And I figured, why not? I don't want to get down the line, have a Wi-Fi system, and then have something killer come out that I really want to be able to play on my train ride to work and not be able to do that. So anyway, that's why I did that. I have mentioned on Twitter, a couple people saw, my wife recently bought a Vita. I don't have it here because she's gone at the moment and she has it with her. However, she did get a Wi-Fi system. The only real difference, I can show you my Vita for this, the only real difference I noticed looking at it pretty quickly, is that here on the 3G system, you have obviously the controls here. Back behind this is the SIM card slot. You can see that's a slot. It pops out and the SIM card goes in. That is simply not there on a Wi-Fi Vita. Obviously, you don't need a slot there. There's no SIM card that goes in. So that slot is simply not there on a Wi-Fi Vita. I didn't really notice anything else. I didn't really look at it too hard. But yeah, and her Vita is just a touch lighter. I'm not really even sure that I could tell. Maybe, maybe not. But because that, the 3G and the GPS aren't built in there. So, very cool. Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's it about 3G. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask me. But basically, I'm not paying for a plan right now, and I won't until something catches my fancy. Anyway, on to, let's see here. Oh, one more thing I will do real quick is I will show the Wipeout case. I know people are interested in cases sometimes. So here is Wipeout 2048, the Japanese case. There's the spine. And here's the back. I hope you can see that. But yeah, I mean, typical layout for a Vita game here. So yeah, you can see that. And then on the inside here, you've got the sheet with the download code. I've already used it, so it doesn't really matter that I cover it up. But here you go. That's the download card. Opens up. Back shows controls. And actually that doubles as, obviously it's not an instruction booklet, but yeah, and then there's another sheet in here that just tells me that I can go take an internet survey about the game, basically. So yeah, that's all that's in there. No instruction manual. Again, all manuals are digital, so you can check them out on there. But yeah, there are a couple games out with manuals. So anyway, on to Minna no Golf 6, aka Everybody's Golf 6, aka Hot Shots Golf 6. I have not done every single thing there is to do in the game. The game has a lot of content. However, I feel like I have done enough. I've probably put about 25 hours into it. I feel like I've done enough to talk about it and basically give it a review and a recommendation and things like that. The game is fun. It's really fun, and as you get farther into it, a lot of that fun turns a little bit into tedium. There are some ridiculous shots and things like that later on. There were a lot of times for me where I would get to like the 9th hole or the 18th hole when I was only playing 9 or 18, and on that final hole, I would end up losing just because I would hit it into a bunker or hit it into water. That's very frustrating. So I would say the first long while, 10 or 15 hours I spent with the game, I really enjoyed it a lot. Not that I was winning all the time, because I wasn't necessarily winning everything I played, but I was unlocking a lot of things. I was getting a lot of character points. Things were going well. Lots of new things were opening up. That's really enjoyable. After that, it did get a lot harder. There is an easy mode in there, and you can try to clear the game on easy mode, but I haven't tried that. I don't want to really, dumb it down too much. So I am still playing the game. I'm going to try and do the last few challenges that there are. I'm going to try and do those on regular. But yeah, now it has become a little bit frustrating, I will say that. However, if you like golf, you can't go wrong with this. If you like golf, in my opinion, it's a must-buy. There are a lot of options in there for characters, a lot of options for customization, clothing, golf clubs, golf balls, your character's power, which comes into how far they can hit, the control of the ball, the spin of the ball, back spin, forward spin, left spin, right spin. All of that is all customizable based on different gear and things like that. The colors of the clothing and stuff themselves are customizable, so the characters, you can end up making characters that you like. And there are a ton of things to unlock. These are very, very positive things about the game. There are also 4 shot selections. So if you don't like the typical meter that goes up and comes back, you can change it to a meter that kind of goes down and you have to hit the button at the right time. You can change it to one that goes straight across instead of kind of doing a little swoop shape. So there are a lot of different options there for customization. So as far as golf goes, yeah, it's not going to blow your mind. If you don't like golf at all, you probably won't enjoy it. If you are the kind of person who doesn't really like golf, but you like mini golf, that kind of concept, you'll probably have fun with it because it is kind of that kind of fun golf. It's not really serious. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it is a difficult game. So don't get the two confused. It is a lighthearted game, but it is hard. Okay. As for things, complaints, I did already mention that the difficulty ramps up. I will say that I didn't feel like I was getting enough points, and the points unlock things. I didn't feel like I was getting enough points when I wasn't winning first place. So even when I was getting 3rd, 4th, 5th place, which happens quite a bit because it gets very hard, I didn't feel like I was getting enough points. I wish that there were more consolation points. Like if I would win first place, I would get, something like 10,000 points. And if I would get like 4th or 5th place, I was getting sometimes 800 points. So it's like less than a tenth. And that might be a bit of an extreme situation. But yeah, you don't feel like you're getting much at all. So if you do end up screwing up at the very end and not winning, you don't feel like you feel like you wasted your time basically because you don't really get many points to unlock anything. You can level up your characters, basically their comfort level with you, I guess. And when they're more comfortable, their shots are a little bit better and things like that. So that does go up, but once that hits max, there's not really much else besides getting the points. Yeah. So I talked a little bit about it, but back to the good things, just so many things to unlock. If you're an unlocker, if you like that aspect in the Smash Brothers games where there's a ton of stuff to unlock, it's very similar to that. There's just so many things. Again, characters, balls, golf clubs, and even clothing for your lobby character who you who you take online. There's just a literal ton of things to unlock. There's even soundtrack music, art, and things like that in there to unlock. And then you can view them in the gallery mode. I liked the included AR mode. If you're interested in that, make sure you take a look at my video that I put up on that a few weeks back. So there is a lot of content there. Graphically, it's not going to blow your mind. It almost looks like it could have been on a PSP, and that's fine. It's a golf game, you know. But if they do another iteration on Vita, it wouldn't surprise me if it did have much better graphics. And again, that's not to say that they're bad. But yeah, control options are great. Basically, the amount of options in there is very nice. So anyway, yeah, final verdict on the game. I know that this has kind of been all over the place, but hey, we're shooting from the hip today. Yeah, final verdict, if you hate golf, don't buy it. You won't like it. It's a golf game, okay? I don't really need to say that, do I? But if you're interested in golf, if you don't like playing golf, but you like golf itself, if you like mini golf, or if you do like golf, I will recommend the game. As for a score out of 10, I'm going to give it a 7. It doesn't really break new ground, but there's a ton of content in there, and it is a fun game. It's not an amazing game, but it is a fun game. Near the end, it gets really frustrating, though, so get ready for that. And I didn't feel like I was getting enough points when I wasn't winning first place, which happens a lot, not winning first place, especially later on. You'll see what I mean. But it is a fun game. Yes, so I'm going to give Minna no Golf 6, Hot Shots Golf 6, a 7 out of 10. Okay. In closing, why don't we talk about some upcoming games that I will be buying all of these games. Not that I buy every single game that comes out on Vita, but these are all titles that interest me. So we have next week, next Thursday, Tales of Innocence R. I never did play the original Tales of Innocence on the DS a few years ago, so I will be happy to pick this one up. It does have some bonus content. And it's supposed to have a lot of content, including a full voice acting throughout the whole game that wasn't in the original game. And then, yeah, the bonus content that I'm talking about, it comes with a download code to get a separate application, which includes some separate character skits that are full voice and an alarm clock app. So pretty interesting for a Tales game, so we'll check that out. The week after that, the next Thursday after that, I believe it's February 2nd, Ragnarok Odyssey comes out. Pretty excited for that one. The demo's up. Check out my first video for the demo if you haven't yet, and I'll have the second video up pretty soon on that. But yeah, it's a lot like a Phantasy Star Online Monster Hunter clone. Games I like. I like games like that a lot. So then the week after that, February 9th, is Gravity Days. And again, I talk about this every video, so not much needs to be said. Very excited for this one. And that actually comes with a kind of limited edition reservation art book. So I will show that off as well. And then finally, a couple weeks after that, in later February, Ninja Gaiden. I believe it's Ninja Gaiden Sigma, a remake of the game. I don't want to say remake, I guess a port of the game to the Vita. And I never played Sigma. I haven't played a Ninja Gaiden in a while, since one of the older Xbox ones. So pretty excited about that. We'll definitely check that out. I do love action games like that as well. So yeah, I'll post up impressions on Ninja Gaiden as well. So yeah, I hope this wasn't too long-winded. A lot of people were asking for the video blog, so here it was. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you get a lot of information out of it. Again, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much for that. I will try to get these blogs up every week. And just stay tuned. A lot of stuff is going on for the Vita right now, so I'm going to try and get as much of it up as I can. But yeah, take a look back for it, and I appreciate it. I'll see you guys next week.